Thank you guys for tuning into Simply Dhol, your online resource for free Dhol lessons. My name is Manvir, and in this video lesson, Satya over here is going to teach me how to install a mic in a Dhol. What is the first thing that we need to do?
First thing you need to do is familiarize yourself with everything that's going in the drum, right? You're going to have your mics. The type of mic you have determines how you're going to mount it or the steps you take. You have a gooseneck type, which is like this one, which is a Sennheiser E604. You have one that actually goes into a gooseneck attachment, like a Shure SM57. Other parts, as you'll see, are a wire, a flange, a tabletop mount actually, and a connector. This is the flange. It's tabletop mount, 3 screws. Your gooseneck type mic, this is an E604. This is a Shure SM57. You can use whatever you like, but these personally have given me the best sound. Your gooseneck. Your Nutric adapter, it's a feed through. So there's no soldering required, it's just a quick install. Your XLR cable, regular male to female, nothing special. And then the screws are required to actually fasten everything in. Now, the first step is to be clearing out your work area, your skins, anything that can get in your way, dangle, or cause you to slip, or whatever can cause an issue, right? So I already took the hooks off. And the first thing you're going to want to do is find out how your flange and gooseneck are going to fit in the Dhol. If you're using a gooseneck type like a E604, you're going to have to do this step with that instead of the actual attachment itself. So screwing it on, it comes to a snug fit where it's going to just stay there, it's not going to go anywhere, and you can install it and it'll be fine. First thing you're going to want to do is make sure when you install that it's installed facing the bass side. This is a personal preference. If it works for you to do it straight up toward the tilly side, it's up to you. But again, this is out of my personal experience. What I'm doing is I'm taking a marker and I'm just leaving a straight mark there so I can see what orientation it's going to be at when the flange is tightened. Now if you see in here, I have this mark, which is basically going to line up with the orientation of the flange. So when I screw it in, I can make sure that the mic is facing the direction I want it to. Now, first thing to remember when doing any type of woodwork with power tools, hand tools, is to be safe. Now, I picked up a set of regular work gloves and a set of safety glasses, because eventually it's going to come down to wood chips, sawdust. You don't want it getting into your eyes and causing infection. It's really going to ruin your day. All right guys, I got my gloves on, I got my glasses on. I've removed the gooseneck from the tabletop flange. So what I'm going to do is, we already have the alignment of how it's supposed to face, but the thing is, I want to make sure that the screws go in nice and easy. So I'm going to use this small drill bit with my rotary tool, and I'm going to leave a small little divot. This will let me get the first screw in, so it'll be easier to attach later. Now that the divot's in, the screw would go in that much easier because it gives it a lead in for the thread.
Just to put this out there, it's February in Toronto, it got really chilly, so I had to go and grab my jacket. Explain to me what took place so far.
All right, as you saw, I used the rotary tool and I put a little divot in. So what I can do is with the divot, it gives me a better lead in for the screw, so it goes in easier. What I've done is, if we can get a close up of the inside of the shell. See, I have the first screw in. And what I've done is I've put in the gooseneck just to make sure that the orientation is correct. So right now it's good and snug. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to take the rotary tool, put in a second divot, and then I'm going to put the screw in. That'll make sure the third screw go in no problem, no worries about location. So again, safety equipment, I'm going to put in the last 2 divots for the last 2 screws. This will fasten the flange in the shell so it won't move while being played. right, now that we have the screws in and the flange is mounted how we want it to, the gooseneck is in, we have to choose a part of the dhol to actually put the connector in. Now, in my experience, it's always been easier to drill, grind, sand away the lighter section of the wood. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose a section. In this case, this area is going to be the best for me. So I'm probably going to put my connector somewhere here or here. The reason why I choose the kachi side is because it's easier to drill and sand through. I avoid transition areas between kali and kachi because what happens is you have different density. Different densities in drilling, sanding, you could risk cracking or you could risk splintering. So it's good to avoid a solid section of, well, in my opinion, kachi. So now that I've chosen my location, I'm using this small drill. It's typically called a pilot drill. A pilot drill is good for relieving stress when you're drilling. So when you go to the larger ones, you don't have to worry about stress and cracking. Removing the drill. Now you go to your full size. Now take it easy because it is wood. It can be prone to crack.
So take a quick moment just to understand what just took place. So right now you use the drill bit and you drill the hole inside the dhol.
Yes, sir.
What is the next step?
The next step is boring out the hole to match the size of the connector.
Okay.
Using a sanding drum with a rotoring tool to accomplish that. Works out pretty well. It gives you good control over the actual size of the hole and you can fit it as necessary so it can be nice and snug or loose if you need it. So far I've been boring the hole, getting it to size with the connector. What I'm doing is every time I take a few passes, I put the connector in to make sure how much room I have left so I know how much material to take off. In this case, I'm extremely close because I'm down to the largest diameter. Now I have to be careful not to go overboard or take too much material off. Now as you can see, our hole is bored out to the correct size and diameter of the adapter. So what you want to do is you want it the longest side to go along the length of the dhol. That makes it easier for the screws to go in and aesthetically it looks better once it's assembled. So like this. Now that the connector's in, the same way we did on the inside with the tabletop flange, I'm going to put two little divots in to make sure the screws go in nice and easy with a good lead in. And now that the divots are in, I could pop the screws in and then we can assemble the wire, the mic, and put the dhol back together. Now that we have the connector mounted, you want to wipe down your dhol because one, you want to show it respect. Two, you don't want dust and sawdust getting into the electrical components. As you can see the setup. And now the drum is mic'd, ready for use. Alright, so now that the dhol is mic'd,
Yep.
I've reassembled it and it's ready for use.
Well, thank you so much for showing me. Honestly, I didn't know anything about mic and dhol before, but I definitely learned something today.
Glad to hear, brother.
Cheers, man.
Cheers.